Good evening, I'm Kevin Christopher.
And I'm Haley Harmon, in tonight for Nancy Cox. Thanks for joining us at 6.
It took 25 years, but Lexington police say they found their suspect in a 1993 rape.
And it's all thanks to technology. Records show a DNA database is what led them to their guy. Carolina Buchek explains in tonight's big story at 6.
Thanks to new DNA technology, Lexington police caught a rape suspect 25 years later. Why the delay? Well, the state police crime lab says back in 1993, if there was no suspect, they couldn't test a rape kit.
If you did not have a suspect to compare it to, we couldn't really do anything with it.
And when a 13-year-old girl in Lexington was raped on September 4th of 1993, police reportedly had no suspect.
That kit in 1993 would have been said, don't bring it to the lab. There's nothing we can do with it because you don't have a suspect.
But now, according to this warrant, Lexington police solved that rape. Police say James Ashley Fields was one of 2 men who allegedly started talking to the girl as she walked home from a football game. The warrant says after drinking and smoking marijuana, the 2 men pushed her to the ground and held her down as they took turns raping her. After the rape, the warrant says the men tied a rope around her neck. When she was finally released, she ran and reported the crime. And then, years later, technology advanced and the state police crime lab received a grant to test rape kits that were not analyzed before.
What it allowed us to do was if you had a case that you did not have a suspect, you could put the DNA profile into the database and it would do a comparison and maybe give you a suspect.
And that's how police found Fields, who is already in jail in Whitley County. And records show he's a convicted sex offender. Covering the news, Carolina Buchek, LEX 18 News.
The man accused of killing a northern Kentucky couple was back in court earlier today.
The parents of Crystal Warner and Bobby Jones made another long trip for the hearing. LEX 18's Conroy DeLuche has more from Marion County.
It's been more than 2 years since Bobby and Crystal were killed, and today their families were back in the courtroom to face their accused killer. Just after 2:30, Craig Pennington walked into the courtroom.
I just want this man to pay for what he's done.
This case dates back to July 3rd, 2016. Police say Bobby and Crystal went to their Washington County cabin to check on a delinquent renter. Crystal called her mother, Mary Reeve, as they drove.
I told him, I said, well, be careful. And of course, my daughter, she said, oh, Mom, you worry too much.
Now, she's only left with Crystal's final words.
I always tell her I love her. And she always says, I love you too, Mom.
The couple was never heard from alive again. Less than 1 week later, Pennington was charged in their murders. That August, Bobby's body was found in Clark County.
Then we buried Bob on the 17th. Be 2 years. He was murdered in July, and we didn't get to bury him until September.
Crystal's remains were not found until months later in Bath County. Today, both the prosecution and defense revealed they are still waiting for more evidence, specifically cell phone records and Pennington's rental payments. Both sides will continue discussing how to get identified eyewitnesses back to Kentucky for the scheduled February trial.
They were wonderful children, never gave us any trouble. They didn't deserve what he did.
Pennington is due next in court on September 19th back in Washington County. Covering the news in Marion County from the LEX 18 Mobile Newsroom, back to you.
Jury selection in the second murder trial of a Lexington native who's accused of killing her boyfriend continued today. The Campbell County Circuit Court office confirms they will continue to interview potential jurors all day tomorrow. Shana Hubers is accused of shooting Ryan Poston inside his Highland Heights apartment in 2012. In 2015, Hubers was convicted of murder and sentenced to 40 years in prison. But that ruling was tossed when a judge found one of the jurors had a previous felony conviction.
Well, this has been a good day today. A few folks have had to deal with a little bit of rain. We can still find some on the Max Track Live Doppler. You've got one decent shower southwest of E-Town, so that's still on the other side, I-65. We can find something a little closer to home. In fact, we've got one over here just north of Barberville. That's popped up in about the last 5 minutes. And we've been tracking a couple of showers that have been moving right across the Tennessee line. So again, watch the development here. Again, how quickly that one popped up there in Knox County. That's a splash and dash. We go to this evening at 7 o'clock. The future track shows a shower or two. Across the south, the rest of us, it'll be a partly cloudy sky. Really a pretty nice evening out there. Headed to Thursday Night Live, looks good. Your night will feature a little fog formation for some, low clouds around for others. Shower chances will be on the increase across southern Kentucky tomorrow during the day. Not huge chances, not a lot of rain, but the possibility will be there. You're looking at temperatures that are running in the 80s. This is right where we should be for a mid-August, latter part of the afternoon. 85 in Lexington. Our weather looks pretty doggone typical. We'll have that for you in just a minute.
All right, Bill, see you then.
A historic building in Breathitt County went up in flames this morning, destroying 2 other buildings that were attached to it.
It happened on Armory Drive in Jackson, just down the road from Breathitt County High School. LEX 18's Michael Burke picks up the story from there.
To Casey Burton, this morning's fire totaled so much more than just an old abandoned building.
We would sit on the roofs and we would watch fireworks and all kinds of stuff.
They also had a trampoline and a tire swing in the yard. For 9 years, this was home for Casey, whose grandmother lived here from 1988 until her passing in 2003.
I cried whenever I first seen it.
Casey says she saw oxygen tanks left in the building not long ago. If those had not been removed, they certainly would have fanned these flames, which took more than 5 hours to contain.
The initial firefighters and the police department who arrived on scene noticed 2 ignition points in the building.
Jackson City fire officials will now work to determine a cause. For now, everyone is just saddened by the loss of a historic building. It was a train depot back in the day, eventually becoming a restaurant. The Pentecostal church next door also sustained significant damage, its congregation members helping the pastor's son remove a few items.
Well, there's a lot of water damage, and upstairs Sunday school rooms are tore all to pieces.
Good way to describe what Miss Burton is likely feeling today after seeing this at her childhood home.
A lot of memories. It's weird seeing it burnt.
Covering the news in Breathitt County, Michael Burke, LEX 18 News.
No one was injured in the fire, and the department will keep a crew on site this evening in case the fire reignites.
Investigators in Floyd County are looking into a fire that did some major damage to a number of houseboats. It happened Tuesday night at one of the docks in Prestonsburg's Jenny Wiley State Park. Park officials say a ranger spotted the fire around midnight and called the fire department. Officials say no one was inside any of the boats, no one was hurt, but look at this damage. The fire destroyed 3 houseboats, damaged more than that as well. Investigators say at this time they don't know what started the fire.
Anytime you have an incident like this, you want to check everything. It may not look like there's something, but something could have got damaged, and then it could cause problems later. So we'll look at things to make sure that everything's safe because we don't want to endanger anyone.
Crews removed the burnt boats. They say it appears no harm was done to the lake.
Louisville police say an Uber driver was killed outside a hotel. They identified the driver as Michael Wallace. It happened Saturday when an argument turned into a fight with the person Wallace was picking up at the Courtyard Marriott on Blairwood Road. Police say Wallace was rushed to Baptist East Hospital, where he died several days later. His family said the fight was over money. LMPD hasn't identified the person who ordered that Uber as a suspect, but there haven't been any charges. Police are looking for witnesses, and the hotel says they don't have surveillance video.
Today was the first day back at school for Marshall County High School students, and the community did what it could to help lift the students up on this no doubt very difficult day. Cars and buses started rolling in Marshall Strong signs to welcome students back on the first day of school. One of Marshall County's 911 operators wanted to make sure that those students remain strong.
I want these kids to know, we always say we are Marshall Strong. Those kids are Marshall Strong. They were strong way before January 23rd. They just didn't realize how strong they were. But they proved it that day, and they will continue to be strong.
The Marshall Strong signs will remain at both entrances of the high school for at least a few more days.
Tomorrow marks the end of an era at a Lexington business. The city's first Walmart will officially close its doors. The Richmond Road store is the only one in town that isn't a superstore with no full grocery or bakery section. The store's 200 associates are being paid through September 14th, and they can transfer to other Walmart or Sam's Club stores.
They were some of the best journalists we've ever seen in action.
And today we were able to learn a few things at this kids-only press conference at the Kentucky Children's Hospital. We'll tell you all about it when LEX 18 News at 6 continues.